Hello from the Martial Art World Special. My name is Cindy Ming and I'm back here with George Strickland, my partner and co-host. What have we got for the people at home in this program, George?
Well, Cindy, we've got for the viewers around the country and the world a great story about the Gracies, a well-known family of jiu-jitsu practitioners from California by way of Brazil. And from New York, a look at martial arts instructor and competitor Jonas Nunez. Plus, we have a story about shoot boxer Bart Vale. What else do we have for our viewers, Cindy?
I'm glad you asked, George. The AKL Junior National Karate Team is the #1 junior team in the country, and we are going to see why as they fight their way through some grueling matches. Also, we've got a Taiko drumming demonstration from Palm Beach, Florida. Some reviews, special segments, and lots more. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The martial art world is sponsored in part by Inside Kung Fu and Inside Karate, the finest martial art magazines available anywhere. Look for them today.
Martial arts training involves many different aspects of defense and attack. Some practitioners specialize in training punches and kicks. The Gracie family puts the accent of their special style on ground fighting. The seminar conducted on Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was a big hit among the attendees, and these kinds of seminars give one an opportunity to learn skills from teachers of different styles. Now to the Gracies.
I think it's such a practical art. It's so usable. That's what I like about it.
You can't always kick and punch from a distance. You got to get in there and wrestle a little bit. And it's effective, very effective.
I think it's very useful. Very few arts deal with the real grappling techniques, and for a small man like I am, I always have that fear of being involved in something like this, grappling situation. And this is really the arts that deals with it most effectively, I think.
My partner brought me, not to this one, but to the first one I went to, which was in New Jersey last year. And he had heard about the Gracies through, his context in the martial arts world, and also seeing some of the videotapes, reading some of the articles, and I'm very skeptical about seminars, things like that. But I did go to that one, and I thought it was fantastic because not just so much that the techniques were very good, which they were, but the Gracies are incredibly logical teachers. And I'm suspicious because if I go to a seminar, and it's great if they can do it, but what do I get out of it? Can I really apply this? Can I learn it in that space of time? And I found I learned a lot.
People since the Bruce Lee era have been conditioned to think that fighting is punching and kicking. But now with the increase of movies and action adventure things and TV programs and so forth, they are realizing more and more that what's presented on TV and on the movies is just more of a demonstration type thing than a real effective fighting system. They realize that most fights end on the ground, and that's what makes Gracie Jiu-Jitsu so unique, is because due to the system that we have to offer, we have means to complete other martial arts systems by adding to them the grappling system that we have developed over the last 60 years in Brazil. And since we are the only ones in the country teaching this form of Jiu-Jitsu that we call Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, we're in an extremely privileged situation because people want to learn this, and we are the only source of learning this kind of technique that they're looking for. So we got the basics from a former world champion that went to Brazil in the early 1900s. That's where my uncle Carlos was exposed to the art. And he practiced the techniques with the Japanese master for a few years, and then he moved down to Rio, which is south, in the south shore, in the south part of Brazil. And as he moved down to Rio, he started his own jiu-jitsu school. That was about 1925 or so. So at that time, due to their small stature, my father, Hélio, and my uncle Carlos and his other brothers start working on the basic traditional Japanese system and develop Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. The idea was to come up with a way of executing the Japanese techniques that they have learned from the Japanese master without depending on strength. So as you know, for trial and error, they practiced the techniques and experimented, and they kept developing the techniques and adapting the basic Japanese techniques. They came up with what Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which in essence is a more simple, easier to apply, and more technique-oriented, where you don't have to be fast, you don't have to be strong, and you don't have to be coordinated to be proficient with it. So it derived from the Japanese style, but it's our own system today. We don't want to put a person that does not know how effective a choke might be to see if the person that is applying the choke is doing it right or not. So it takes an experienced neck to make sure that the student is doing the technique right. So instead of putting two students that are not very familiar with the proper technique to do it each other so they don't hurt themselves, we prefer to put our necks on the line, plus we have the proper technique to correct whatever is missing to make it an effective choke or effective technique. All of us are practically born on the mat. My dad has been doing this for 60 years. And all of us were practically, as I said, since little kids, as soon as we start walking, we have a kimono on and start rolling around the mat, even though we are not aware of what we're learning. So after a while, it's just like, drinking water for us. It's the same thing. It's just very comfortable to do that kind of thing. The people that were here, they are mostly upper ranks in different styles. Nobody is an upper rank in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which means that they are not familiar with the grappling. So even though they might be, black belts in other styles, they pretty much are beginners in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. That's one thing. Number two, the reason that we line up everybody and we put ourselves to demonstrate the technique against all of them is to show them that if you do the technique correctly, you don't have to be strong. We do have endurance in Jiu-Jitsu because we've been doing this all our lives. But we are not using strength to make the fight turns out favorable to us. So we're just using the right techniques, and as the fight develops, there's always a chance for us to catch the opponent on something. And we believe on the idea that we just happens to be a good bunch of people from Brazil. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put myself in a pedestal and think that I'm not here to work out with anybody. So we just go out and we like to go out and practice with the students and develop a good bond, a good friendship. Most of these people that were here have been in other seminars that we did before, and they kind of like to get back to us and work out with us. It just develops a nicer and stronger bond. They're friends of ours, after all. They're not just students. We pretty much like to see the thing that way.
We are coming right back with Jonas Nunez in the ring at a karate competition from Atlantic City. So stay tuned. In New York and around the country, the name Jonas Nunez is coming up over and over again. With the opening of his new school on Broadway, more people than ever are getting to know Jonas. Let's meet this outstanding karateka in this story.
Side, make sure, step, body turning around, bam, inside, and then you do it, bam, straight inside, ready, spinning back here, ready.
Well, at the New York's finest karate school, I'm in charge of the karate and the kickboxing. We do a style, Okinawan style of karate called Shindoru, and we mix it with the Thai boxing, where the fighting and the kumite aspects of it will be Thai boxing. We also have a Chinese Kempo. It's taught by Sifu Jack Schamberger, and it's a North branch of the Ed Parker system of Kung Fu. That's our Kung Fu branch. Okay, we also have Master Lou Ferrer, who also teaches self-defense and Jiu-Jitsu techniques, V-Jitsu and techniques. So we have Sifu Doug Pierre, who is #1 student in the Remy Presas, and he teaches a modern arnis. So we have 4 different styles in the school. We have 2 training areas in the school right now, and we like to offer everything. A well-rounded martial artist is the best martial artist, and we have an open mind towards all arts. The bow form that you saw, Sushi no Kongsho, it comes from a family of bow forms, 5 bow forms from the Sushi no Kongsho family, okay, which is a traditional family and traditional art in Japan. We use it a lot, especially here in the United States, especially in the New York area. We have a lot of open competition. We have a lot of high kicks, twirling of techniques with the bow staff. So we use a traditional combination of the bow form plus some advanced techniques, high kicking techniques, and twirling techniques. A lot of the bow forms include a lot of groin strikes, overhead strikes, as you saw in the bow form, on the forehead, side strikes to the neck, and thrusting and poking techniques to the throat and to the face. Well, most systems teach weaponry or kabuto to their students when they're at the black belt level. I usually teach my students weaponry at the green belt or purple level, depending on the advancement of the student and the natural abilities of the student, because I believe enhancing their abilities and technique with bow forms, the weapon forms, and actually extensions of your open hand forms. Well, as a martial artist and as a competitive martial artist, I like all levels of competition. The weapons is one competition, the empty hand forms are one. Semi-contact fighting, which is controlled fighting in a controlled atmosphere, is good. The continuous contact, which you fight in the boxing ring, which they don't stop for points, or what they call the E-pongs, is a continuous round of matches similar to a boxing match. And the Thai boxing and the kickboxing, I enjoy all levels because it's all one martial art. And if I don't try all aspects and all levels of martial arts, I don't consider myself a martial artist.
24 years old, 160 pounds, 5 feet 8 inches tall, out of Kingsburg, New Jersey, Vic Garcia. And his opponent coming out of the red corner, 30 years old, 155 pounds, 5 feet 4 inches tall, coming out of the Bronx, New York, Jonas Nunez.
Nunez out of New York is quite a seasoned fighter. He's been in the martial arts for about 25 years. He started as a little child, and he's pretty much done it all. He's got a very game opponent here from northern New Jersey, Vic Garcia out of Keensburg, and it should be a real fast match all the way through both rounds.
Okay, we're called Vic the Brick Garcia. That's what his hometown is, Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Said he's been in karate for 11 years. So we have 11 to 25 years. And both of these gentlemen seem game. The pacing seems a bit different. They seem to be thinking. They seem to be knowing what they're doing, trying to put their punches together.
These fighters are both much more experienced. These fighters are both much more seasoned, and I think you can see that they're picking their shots. It's a lot less based on little response from the crowd there. A lot less based on force and more on technique and finesse.
Okay, well, let's see what they can show us here. So far, I've seen a lot of energy, and they seem to be trying to outpsych each other. Somebody seems to be waiting for an opening.
Well, the first part, they both felt each other out. There was a couple good clashes, a couple good flurries, and now they're just kind of like probably sitting back for a second, thinking their strategy through, and really how they both kind of tasted each other's metal there for a moment. Now what can we do here? They're thinking to take this fight, make it decisive.
Let's see how we can win here. Now I noticed that Nunez is sticking his left glove out, sort of like a bolo punch, or to draw the other fighter's attention away. I assume that's what he's doing. He sticks his glove out here, or maybe it's just his technique to distract Garcia.
Well, I think what's happening is we got a little bit of height advantage by Garcia, and what Nunez is doing is he's throwing that lead hand straight punch, and he's following it with the footwork, so he's covering a lot more distance, and that should give him the opening to follow with a combination.
Okay, and that makes sense to me. Okay, we're just about started for round number 2 here. Jonas Nunez, 30 years old, out of the Bronx, New York, and Vic Garcia, Keensburg, New Jersey, 24 years old. So far, a little bit too close to call. These gentlemen have been trying to find each other out. Garcia comes out throwing several kicks. Nunez countering with kicks of his own. He's rushing. Garcia backs him off. Nunez wanting to get into a tussle here. Nunez kicking and missing. There's a time as referee Mike Brennan. Referee Mike Brennan. So far, and there goes Nunez.
Yeah, he's very effective.
Technique.
Very effectively using that lead hand. It looks like Garcia got hit with that ridge hand. However, it didn't look that hard to me. I think he caught him more off balance than he fell. I think Garcia's taking advantage of this. Okay, was certainly convincing enough to the referee. He was there closer than me, and he's saying he's taking a point away from Nunez for excessive contact for that ridge hand to the head. That could make the difference in the match. Let's see how the judges call it.
All righty. I'm with you as Garcia starts kicking. Nunez counters with a couple of kicks of his own. We have 2 black belts here, I take it.
Yeah, definitely. And Nunez is a master level black belt. He's, like I say, he's been training since he's very young, 25 years in the martial arts. So he's very, you'll notice his technique is very precise.
It doesn't seem like he expends too much energy. There he goes again with that technique we're talking about.
No, picking his shots, and Garcia's a little tired. He's a little wary, so he tries to grab onto Nunez and tie him up as he comes in. And I guess it's up to the ref to try to break them clean.
Seems to be a little hard of figuring out Nunez's style. Seems to be giving him some trouble. Nunez lost a point there, but it doesn't appear at this point that Garcia is putting too much together.
No, I think if Nunez can really press this fight for this round, it could make this round even and possibly take it on the effects of the first round. Of course, you never know. Garcia could rally. We'll see.
All righty. Well, we've got about 20 seconds left. Let's see what happens. A good overhead left. Well, that's the end of the bout. And a fine one it was. Let's go up and see who the winner is. Either Vic Garcia out of Keensburg or Jonas Nunez out of the Bronx, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner, Jonas Nunez in the red corner of the Bronx, New York. Without a straight hand for Vic Garcia from Keensburg, New Jersey, the winner, Jonas Nunez.
Well, in the New York City area right now, promotion in the martial arts is at a standstill. And with the help of yourself and a few other promoters in the area, we'd like to bring in the new sport of Thai boxing, which has taken Europe and Southeast Asia by a new wave. Thai boxing, kickboxing, shoot boxing, all very important and spectator sports. The spectators will love this kind of sport. And it's the most challenging of all fighting sports that I've seen so far.
Shoot boxing is a very new sport. Bart Vale is one of the best. Let's take a look at his seminar.
This way. Shoot boxing is a combination of kickboxing and submissionary wrestling. Submissionary being that you get the opponent to submit against arm lock or shoulder lock, leg lock, choke out, headlock. The rules are very simple. You're not allowed to punch the face because you're not wearing gloves. You're allowed to kick to the body. Back of the leg is real popular. Side of the body up into the head. If you hit the opponent with a kick to the head and knock him out, you get a standing 8 count. 5 standing 8 counts in Japan is you're out. Another way to get a standing 8 count is you use the ropes to your advantage. If a person has you in a submissionary hold and you can't get out of it and you can't reverse it, but you can reach for the ropes, then that will also break the hold, and you get 3 of those, and you get one submissionary. Well, you get 1 takedown. All of this is being conducted now in Japan. As far as competitions are done in the States right now, it's all done in Japan. Okay, doing the same one. That's it. You resist. Yeah. Going around this way. Okay, I started training in the martial arts about '68. I started in Chinese Kempo in 1970. I've been training in Chinese Kempo. I train in Sensei Goju, and I train in Shinabai Ninjutsu. Most of my background comes from the Chinese Kempo system, but in shoot fighting or shoot boxing, it doesn't matter if you're Taekwondo, Kempo, Shotokan, it's still basically like a whole different world. I like to teach more of the grappling part because most of the people that we've been teaching right now can kick and can punch. And what we do is, the hardest thing is the actual floor work. So that's what I like to do is have them work the floor work so that they can do the move and then work it from standing up position. This way. I'm gonna cross over. Relax. This way. Tap me. Always tap me. Well, I like to put it together where the student that buys the tape can actually learn from the tape rather than watching the match and saying, "Ooh, yeah, great," which I consider entertainment. We want to do it as a training tape where I can take the student from some warm-up exercises so that they won't get injured, to some different kinds of falls and drops, because you do use those, different kinds of kicks that we would use, and start a basic class on teaching them through the movements and then progress going in one movement to the next movement, having the other person reverse it, going into his movement and so forth. So this way they can train with it. A couple of moves that you guys know when you have your opponent down. Just go down. There's several different ways. One is aggravate this. Another way, which he's pretty good at this one, is doing that. And this. Taking the head this way. Same move. Just getting the head, lock it. From this position, you got the arm, this arm, or you can take this arm, take it around this way. Same thing from the arm. He's resisting this. Resist, resist, resist. I can take this arm. Same way.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with our next story. The AKL Junior National Team competes all around the country. We went to the Rhode Island Nationals to see this undefeated team compete. Here is that story.
On this beautiful day in Warwick at the Ocean State Grand National Championships, I'm very happy to be with Coach Ed Budd. How are you, Ed?
Fine, thank you.
You know, your kids look great today, and their attitudes about their work and school, wonderful. You're with why don't you tell us about the league that you're with?
Okay, what this is, it's the AKL, which stands for Amateur Karate League, and that's for 17 and under. Basically, it doesn't deal with the professional, which is your black belts, your men black belts. And it's a junior team, it's a national team combined with Canada, and we're looking to get out there and get some exposure and have some fun.
The kids look great, and I saw you have the higher-ups there, 17-year-old, very strong. How are you able to get the team all together?
Okay, what I've done is kind of, with finances being what they are, is a little stroke of genius here. I know the talent is out there, so what I need to do is tap into that talent.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how the Amateur Karate League came about? Because we know we have the PKL, but now you've got the showcase for young talent. So how did that all come about?
Okay, that probably came about with a lot of karate kids and stuff like this, where about probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even before that, what you had was most of the people that were in the martial arts or karate were adults. All of a sudden it started to swing, and probably now 60-70% of all the martial artists are kids and young boys and girls. So when you get that much of a market out there, and the martial art community is going with the kids and everything, well, you've got to afford them the same opportunities you do with adults. So that means the same size trophies for the same, they pay the same entry fee, they should get the same size trophy. So if you have a adult team, why not a kid team? Especially when they account for maybe 60% of the market.
You have such a good spirit. What are some of your philosophies about karate training?
Well, my philosophies about karate, above everything else, is, seriousness takes secondness to everything else. For instance, I want all my people to have fun. That's the number one priority.
They sure look like they are having fun.
Okay. The number two priority is respect. They're going to respect what I say, the parents and the coaches say. And number three is to win. So in that order, I'm not like a little league father. My boy doesn't have to hit a home run to win. If they have fun, they win.
All right, we're ready for our first bout, Cindy.
They look spirited, don't they, George?
Oh, yeah. Spirited and ready.
Now, an interesting thing about this batch of kids, they're well trained. The AKL team has been traveling a lot to the different tournaments.
Yes, he just scored a point, too.
And that this is the team's point fighting. So the accumulation of points for the total team is what counts here.
Oh, yeah, they're all working together today.
The smaller ones, they're pretty game. Oh, bad blow to the larynx there.
These kids are tough, though.
Andre Richardson from New York City comes in, makes sure the kid's okay.
Well, one thing I know, during the training, many little incidents happen. So these kids are kind of used to, you know, having to gather
Taking
themselves
the blows,
together
sure.
and then continue. That's part of the martial art training.
Now the AKL fighter on the left is very experienced. He's been to a lot of tournaments.
It shows.
And he looks like he's focused, looking at his opponent.
He's using his height advantage and his legs are longer.
Definitely.
And he's keeping his distance, scoring the points and staying out of the way of receiving blows. There's great extension on them those high kicks.
Both of them have great extension.
Axe kicks or something.
Oh, rich hand there. USA team scores.
Yeah, he seems to try to create the contact first in order to get
Time on the match.
in in earlier to score. Because the longer he waits, the harder it is for him to score. So he's trying to jump on him right away.
Cindy Ning here, and who says that the youth of America is breaking down in discipline? Well, I'm here with some pretty terrific young people, and one of them is Nick Gingras. Is that right? Okay, thank you. And you're on Martial Art World today. You did a beautiful job with your kata.
Thanks.
And why don't you talk a little bit about the way you study?
I go to the school in Massachusetts 3 times a week, and I practice about 3 times a week, otherwise at home after school.
You do your homework then, too?
Yeah.
Is it hard getting your homework and your karate practice in?
Yeah.
It is, but you do love it, right?
Yes.
What's the name of your kata, Nick?
Destiny. It's a musical kata, but sometimes I do it without the music in competition.
And how do you do when you do it?
Well, I got second.
Like it?
Yeah, I did second place today.
All right.
And I did second place last week, and I did it first at another tournament.
All right, congratulations.
Thanks.
Who is your instructor, Nick?
Garrett Warren. He's part of the Billy Blanks Karate Academy.
And do you like other martial arts as well?
Yeah.
What do you like to watch?
Watch?
Yeah.
On TV?
Yeah.
The Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
Oh, really?
These guys are going at it.
I think they're fired up from the previous bout. AKL scores again.
You have a lot of team camaraderie going on here. It's everybody's individual score.
Spin
Pretty
kick
fancy
there.
technique there.
All right. Little guy's keeping up. He's game. He's not going to go down without a fight.
No, but he's definitely being scored on.
One thing I noticed with the AKL fighter is that he's never taking his eyes off his opponent.
Yeah, and he's sticking that side kick in there every time he gets charged.
He sure is.
Scoring them points. Bing, right there. Great balance.
Again with the axe kick, again with the axe kick, and a rich hand.
Yeah, he's mixing up the
We're seeing
techniques.
some future champions here, George.
Most definitely.
Working that axe kick again.
You'll notice the AKL fighters, they all are bouncing on their toes. You know, they're not using a lot of lateral movement, but they're bouncing in and out.
Right, more like a
attacks.
boxing style, I'd say, George, right?
Yes.
USA team Larry Whitley.
Now let's see what some of the younger fighters can
More experienced members of the team coming up. Neither one of these are taking their eyes off each other.
do. Yeah, and you see what the more experienced tournament little veterans here are doing. not wasting any motion.
AKL is really looking for an opening coming on in, but USA team snuck one in there while the guy was waiting too long.
They seem to be using the same type of techniques in order to score on each other. First they try to score right away, and then they try to sit back and wait for the other guy to make a mistake.
And again, that axe kick.
And beginning to see a little more contact to the head, those ridge hands.
Ed Bud must really be working their kicking style and extension, because it seems to be a trademark for them, both on the left and the right side with the AKL fighter.
Definitely. Definitely.
Maybe that also
Great
comes from Glenn Hart's training as well. I believe it's Glenn Hart and Ed Bud that both coach the AKL team.
Most definitely. Well, you know, if you can score without your man touching you, that's it.
That's the way, name of the game. Point fighting.
All
Good
right,
camaraderie,
USA
though.
finally
Good camaraderie.
came ahead in that match.
Boy, those kids are tough competitors, aren't they, George?
They were fantastic. We'll be back with more fights. We're back with the AKL Junior National Team competition. Both these combatants are ready. And they all start off with
Fierce hook kick by the AKL guy.
Definitely.
Now this fighter from the AKL seems more grounded. He's not bouncing on his toes as much.
Yeah, he's keeping himself in a lower position so he can snap out those kicks. And he's leaning back.
Definitely taking the more aggressive stance coming in.
I'll tell you one thing, his placement on those kicks are excellent. He moves them up the side, up to the head. And that was another one of those ridge hands.
I think it hit the guy's nose this time, George. Seems all right.
He's tough. Basically getting hit in the nose will just smart you for a few seconds, or water your eyes.
Right.
And
seems just temporarily.
Let you know that you're actually in a
fight. Woke him up. All right, time to start.
Now we'll see if they continue both going to head techniques. Or they take the easy way out and use the legs. Because excessive head contact with the hands will get you disqualified, so.
Right.
It's better to use the
Well,
legs.
it's something that they have to watch for with the excessive hand contact. But both team members seem to be doing okay, staying within the regulations. What is this guy smiling from the AKL team? He looks like fierce and ready.
He'll probably call it
Eye
a
of the
grimace.
Eye of the tiger here. Looks like he's trying to psych out his enemy, scare him. It's like David and Goliath.
Right, well he wants the
mighty David against Goliath.
yeah, he wants to utilize and get under those kicks of his taller opponent.
Yeah, and he is. He's
Utilize
focused.
that speed.
Taunting his USA opponent there. Nice hook kick to the head. Did that score, George?
I think he was out of bounds. Yeah.
Spin kick. Guy comes after him.
He could have got scored on. He turned his back while he was still in the arena. Nice. Nice point.
AKL makes the point. Look like we have a Junior Rocky here. He's rallying his team members. Every time he thinks he makes a score, he puts his hands up.
Oh yeah, they're definitely behind, and they're gonna have to ground techniques going on here. No scoring for that. Looks pretty, but no point. Time. That was a very technical bout. All right, that was a tie bout. And here comes the final score.
Final score is the USA World Karate Team 12, the AKL Junior All-Stars 21.
Well, there you have it. 21 to
AKL
12, AKL. They earned
take
it.
it away again. They were a tough team to beat. The Martial Art World Special is coming right back. Don't touch that dial. Taiko drumming is an ancient Japanese art form. Here is a special treat, the New York Taiko drummers.
Special martial art world thanks to the Seoul Taiko drummers. I'm George Strickland.
And I'm Cindy Lee.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
The martial art world is sponsored in part by Inside Kung Fu and Inside Karate, the finest martial art magazines available anywhere. Look for them today.